Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liminal Writing.
For those who are tuning in the first time, Liminal Writing is where Ces and I come together for a 10-minute timed writing exercise with no boundaries and no policing of thoughts, just putting everything that comes up to you on paper. And then we talk about it after. Today we landed on one word. And today's word is
Upheaval. Okay, so I will go first, as
yes,
usual.
please. Yes, please.
Okay, upheaval. This conjures up images that are so mixed up in an eclectic way in my mind. Concrete floors in swaying motion, cracking open in jagged yet clean lines to forever. Trees splitting right down the middle as decades-old branches get swept by violent winds in opposite directions. Waters from the sea rising to meet and clash with gushing forest waters trying to escape through the gaping mouth of a vomiting river. And then there is me and my insides, waves of acid, confusingly traversing upwards, but pulled by gravity to go downwards into my gut. My brain does not know what to make of it. My soul goes on lockdown, trying to protect itself from destruction and trying to find the quiet space where I can regroup, recapture, restore, rebuild deep down inside until the stormy upheaval passes. There. Oof, 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 oof.
Yeah. All right, here's mine. Upheaval. It starts as a curl of water, the tiniest part of the ocean reaching the edge of your big toe. Once, twice, even thrice. Always slight touches, never going over the rest of your toes. You take delight in this curl of water that keeps touching you, following, enticing, enthralling. Now bolder, a bit more splash, a harder pull. Still tolerable, though the curl is now a hook, faster, suddenly bigger, reaching your thighs. A curl, a hook, and finally a frightening swell, carving the sand beneath you, the upsurge taking you out, away from what is familiar and known to places you'll never fathom.
Wow, for those listening, we actually wrote this piece about 2 weeks ago. We tried to record, but we had problems with it. But why I'm saying that is that in terms of timestamps, these are some of the images I've been seeing on the news the recent days with the biggest earthquake ever in Russia with the 8.8 magnitude earthquake. And then and the tsunami alerts that followed. I think the images we've used, whether it's waves or earth moving, reflects a bit of the environment where we grew up and the experiencing of life that we had growing up in the Philippines, an archipelago that has all the possible natural disasters in this universe, from volcanoes to the earthquake faults to typhoons, floods, and then of course of recent decades, we've come to know the tsunami warnings and even the rush of tides and mudslides and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's where a lot of these images also come from our own, the actual experiencing of this kinds of upheavals around us. But I was using a bit of that too to capture what I'm feeling inside with
Yeah.
all the complexities happening around the world, around my work, in my own personal space. That's where I was coming from. How about you?
You talked about, our lived experience growing up in an archipelago, and there you experience beauty being by the waters, the color of it, the landscape of the water shapes the coastal line. But there's also the absence of proper infrastructure and care by the administration not being able to deal with the after effects of these calamities. And so you see places that are flooded, people sometimes die because we're not prepared in terms of how to manage the amount of water that comes into the streets, into the houses. And you also have organizational structure to care for the people in the aftermath.
The
And
social
then
safety nets for such events.
and then leaping to now that you have just spoken about the global shifts that are rapidly happening. I think if we look back at history, if we clearly listen to signs, the little pings that are saying the rise of conservatism, the rise of the new right that is more vicious and really cutting down on everything that was brought to fore by civil rights movement, by civil rights movements all across different parts of the world. And so when I was writing it, when we said about upheaval, imagery that we use is about nature, but it also speaks to what I felt was a really unknown, what our world is turning to.
How are you experiencing this as a trans man and an Asian trans man living in North America? But how are you experiencing this on a personal level? Oh, the upheaval.
The other day, I was looking at some of the Instagram accounts that I follow of other trans men, and I thought to myself, they were so brave to come out and stand and say that I'm living my life here as I know that I also do, right? Authentically here. But they chose to be out in a very public space,
Social media.
in the legal front or on social media.
Yeah.
I'm naturally more of an introvert.
Yeah.
You and I have talked about our experience as theater performers. I think that's very different because there's a story that you have to tell and there's a character that you inhibit. So yes, you bring yourself out vulnerable, but it's kind of like there's a facade that you're playing for. Whereas for this one, your question is very personal because it's about me in all my
Nakedness.
doubts. In what I know, my strength,
Yes.
but there's also the question of living your purpose in a world that continuously wants to crush who you are, the ability to build those safe spaces.
And you feel that, who you are and what you've built. Do you feel that space is crushing in, or is that the
increasingly
feeling?
it increasingly instead of expanding in a way that is rightfully each human being's right.
Yeah.
There's a part in my brain that says, with everything happening outside in the world, maybe let's just stop here for now because it is safe, right? For example,
You don't feel safe. There is a feeling of danger or risk that wasn't there before, or at least not that strongly. Yeah.
Yeah. Something like, for example, very personal, like when it's been talked about even at the start of the existence of trans people more in the public space. Like even going to a public washroom right now.
Oh,
So it's like
yes.
even now, just me
Yeah.
being living my life in all its fullness in what 7 years. There's always like a caution, ding 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 in my head going into the washroom.
Oh,
So I
wow.
was feeling like, oh, I hope there's nobody there. So I can just do my business in peace.
Yeah.
Or thinking that how can one truly talk about things in your life, even with somebody that you just meet? But in your head, you also have to say, where is this person also coming from? You never know fully what's happening in another person's head. Trust or be mindful of the social things. For example, when you see somebody who is wearing a shirt stamped with a political message that you don't agree with, you rein back instead of being oh, it doesn't matter if he's wearing a shirt that says this, he's still a human being. I can
Right.
still have a
Right. Yes.
conversation.
Yes.
But
With
I
the
think in the world that we have now,
it's polarized.
yeah, so there's no peace or the thinking of we can find peace together even if we have political differences because we're both thinking about living a life and acknowledging that we are different, but yet we can share this space together and listen to each other. I don't think there's that right now.
Wow.
And it's unsettling, it's puzzling how people can be like there was another news, I think it was a newscast that I saw. It was an elderly woman, and she acknowledged herself as elderly, but you can hear it in her voice. This is a show in the US that she said that she admitted she voted for the current sitting president, but she said, we don't have to be so mean and unkind. People who are unlike us. She said, this is not who we are. I
Then
don't
the
know. It's
leadership that you voted for is demonstrating behavior that allows others to be disrespectful, confrontational, or even harmful to those who do not share the same beliefs or seen as not on the same side as them. But I'm just saying, I hear you about space where we can actually listen to each other, despite the fact that we hold different political, ideological views. It's very much polarized now, and I think political leaders' economic interests that bring them to political control weaponize that vulnerability of human beings to find quote unquote safety, but sometimes safety is packaged as being on this side. You're protected on this side where there's power backing you and protecting you, even if it means trampling on the rights of others. So that's a dysfunctional, sick part of it. That's harmful. That's harmful to all of us.
Oh, very much so. Even those like the story about the woman who was speaking out. Maybe she didn't think that it would come to this. She was just going by, okay, because I've always voted for this party, thinking that there will be other branches of government that kind of pull in.
But bring the
But
balance, yeah.
but the levers are all pushed to the maximum to say we want to exterminate everybody who does not believe the way that we think society should be. The upside to it is even when I say that there's always like a caution in my head, I will unrelentingly be who I am in this world.
Yes.
So
That is one
I
solid
got family
thing
and
you
friends
can,
who love me.
yes, you can
So
hold on to.
yeah, absolutely.
On that note,
Yes.
thank you for joining us again on Liminal Writing. From today is the word upheaval, and you might want to try that yourself. See if it gets you to more cheery places than we have landed on. All right. Till the next session, thank you for listening.
See you next time. Bye.